Hey guys, Dr. Decks here. Today we're gonna do some testing on some product as far as staining goes. So if you like this video, you learn a little something about these products I'm about to show you, please don't forget to click that subscribe button and hit the bell icon if you want to be notified when we're putting out new content. I have a problem. I did a deck about a year ago with a top cap out of IPE. Now the rest of the deck is synthetic, has cable rail. The client didn't want a metal top cap, so we ended up putting this IPE top cap on. And unfortunately, the stain I used, they wanted it black to match the rest of the rail, but the stain only lasted 3 months, maybe. Now, IPE is a really hard Brazilian wood that doesn't absorb stains very well. So what I've thought is I'm gonna have to take this material and get some semi-solids, high quality, and apply this, and then we're gonna let them sit out in my boneyard for 3 months, and we'll check up on them every so often. But the main core of this video is introducing you to the products and then applying them to the IPE, and then waiting, hurry up and waiting, I guess, to see. We'll do a follow-up video after a few months and let you know which one we decided to go use on this particular project. Now, IPE, when untreated, turns into a gray color. It starts out this really beautiful kind of reddish, dark red, deep red, and when you put a clear sealer on it, it is a beautiful red, but you have to do that every year or else it turns gray. And it also helps protect all the grain on the ends and that kind of thing as well. So what I have here is I have a gallon of Q-Tech Extreme with some black tint. Now I already know this gallon doesn't have enough tint in it to make it work, but I wanna see how one color of tint in 1 gallon compares with these two as well. So I have Q-Tech Extreme here. This one is called Super Deck. It used to be made by a company called Duckback, and then I believe that Sherwin-Williams picked up the brand, and now it's labeled under the Sherwin-Williams brand as Super Deck. This is also a semi-solid. This one is a water base, so I'm not sure how it's gonna work against an oil-based product, okay? And then the third one I have here is a product called Mesmers, and Mesmers is a high-quality stain as well. And these are both their darkest, blackest colors they have. These two are a semi-solid, this one's more of a translucent. So I know this one's not gonna coat or cover as well as these two, but I thought I would include it in our test just for our own personal knowledge and to see where we end up. So this one, Mesmers, I had tinted at a local lumber yard. I think this was $70 for this gallon. This one was about $70 for this gallon, and this one was about $120 for this gallon. So you're spending anywhere from $50 to $150 depending on the brand and their claims and which one you believe in. What we're gonna do is a shootout, and it's gonna take a minute. We'll go ahead and apply them and see how we do, and then we'll go from there. So the first thing I'm gonna do is protect my hands. All right, so the first one I'm gonna do is the Mesmers. I've shaken it up. We're gonna go ahead and stir it just to make sure. And I just have a small sample of the IPE right now. I don't have any large deck boards that I can share with you guys. So we're just gonna go with these little samples anyways, because we're just gonna let it sit out in the weather, see how it does, okay. So it kind of has a dark gray look to it. I'm hoping that maybe dries a little darker, but we'll see. Maybe this isn't the color for us, but we'll stir it up real good. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna wipe this, and then I'm gonna go ahead and stain one of these boards. And we are not gonna be shy. We wanna make sure we have a decent amount on this, but you don't wanna leave it like dripping wet. You just wanna smooth it out. These again are semi-solids. We may have to let these dry and actually do a second coat, but until these do dry, I'm not sure about that. So there's the Mesmers. And I did label the back of these, and I'm not gonna put any sealant or stain where it says Mesmers. We'll leave that open, and we're probably gonna leave this side exposed to the weather. Once these dry, I'm gonna sit them outside and see how well they do. Okay, so there's one. Now I just picked this stain up from Sherwin-Williams today, so it's been stirred. I am not gonna stir this one again because it was just a couple hours ago, so I'm sure this stain is fine. This is the Super Deck. It is a darker color, which I like to start with. Let's see how she do. And it is thick as well. Ooh, that's nice and thick. So that might be the ticket, because we are really looking to cover this completely and thoroughly. And again, we don't want to leave it like this, where it's just like a lot of junk all over it. We don't want to do that. We want to smooth it out. Now, I would usually use a paint pad for this, but for demonstration purposes, I think that we can go ahead and just use a rag and it'll be fine. Now, if I go through and I wipe this, you're gonna see more of the wood. I'm not trying to do that. I really want a decent coat. Now you could do 2 thinner coats and that's fine. We're just gonna go like that. Put a little bit on the back here and leave that like so. We'll see how that dries. There's the Super Deck. So I think these semi-solids are gonna be the way to go for this particular test. But we're gonna go ahead and show you what a translucent stain looks like as well. All right, so now we're gonna do the Q-Tech. I've shaken this up very well. I already know that this is gonna be not as thick of a stain as the other two. You can kind of see it's a little more liquefied. I'll go ahead and stir it up though. It's a lot soupier. Just so you know, I wiped the stick off in between. So this is a clean rag, and now I'm gonna wipe this stick again with this, and then I'm gonna use the same rag to stain the board with. And I can tell you right now, I know that this isn't gonna be as thick of a coat, and this would take several coats. But what I'm doing is I'm doing this as a test sample because this is what the client has, something similar to this stain on the deck now, on their railing, and it's not lasting. But you can see what it looks like compared to these semi-solids. And we'll put all 3 of them together so that you guys can see it before we let them dry, okay? So I'll just put a little bit on the back side. And I've talked to Q-Tech, and they said, you know what? You could probably add up to 2 more coats of tint or 2 more containers of tint into this stain, and it would work a lot better. I just don't think this one's gonna work out. And that's probably why it didn't last very long in the first place. So my initial thoughts are this. We're gonna use Super Deck. But before we do, we're gonna let these dry fully and then sit out in the weather and see what happens. This color's too gray, this color's just right, and this color's not enough. So what I'm gonna do is before I do my final analysis on this, I'm gonna add 1 more coat to each sample. I'm also gonna order 2 more containers of black tint for the Q-Tech, just to be fair, because that's what the factory recommends. And then we'll apply these outside for 3 months, and we'll see where we end up. And then I'll be able to make a decision from there. So there you go, guys. Thanks for watching. If you like what you saw, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the bell icon if you want to be notified when we're putting out new content. Don't forget to like this video, leave a comment below. Let me know what you guys come up with. If you've ever stained IPE before or you have a good product that you think we should use, hit us up in the comments. Maybe I'll grab a gallon of that as well and use it for part of our testing. Thanks for watching today, guys. Have a great day.